Post of National Security Advisor inside the White House. And there's rampant speculation by the mainstream media over exactly who he is and what he stands for. But what do people who actually have worked with General Flynn have to say about him?
Well, here to weigh in, a man who knows Flynn, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer. Colonel, good to have you here this morning. Good morning.
Thank you for having me. Good to be on. Thank you. Good to be on. Hey, Ed.
All right, so you do know him personally. What we've heard about him and what we sort of know is that he's disruptive, right? Especially when it comes to the most important issue that we face, arguably going forward, is ISIS, even getting fired for speaking to Congress about it.
Well, that's the issue, Abby, and thank you for putting it in that term. You know, yeah, he was asked to leave by a man named Jim Clapper, who was resigning rather than do the right thing and do an overlap. And let's remember, Jim Clapper actually lied to the American people on multiple occasions. He politicized the intelligence system. So let's think about this. A man who's disruptive against the very thing which is going to damage our country is not disruptive. It's actually something designed to fix things. And let's be clear on this. Mike Flynn was actually confirmed twice by the Senate for senior intelligence positions to include his position as director of DIA. So I got to tell you, Abby, I have been completely appalled and fascinated in a sick sort of way about him being portrayed as a racist, and him being portrayed as all these vile things. By the way, all by people who are faceless. Nobody's willing to go on the record, and those of us who have been working with him are just looking at this like, what the heck is going on?
And Tony, it's interesting because some of his comments obviously have been all about radical Islam, and he has made no bones about taking that on.
He wrote a book about it. That's right.
Absolutely. And there are Democrats who are going to be looking at his nomination, obviously. It would have been looking, I should say, at his nomination if he had gone for defense secretary. They went instead to an appointment, so they don't have a confirmation hearing. But my point is, they're going to be dogging him every step of the way. And one of those senators is Ron Wyden, who said, quote, his statements about Muslims are profoundly un-American as well as damaging to the fight against terror and national security. His financial entanglements with Russia and other foreign governments are also cause for concern. Now, look, I get you're standing up for him, but you have to admit that since leaving government, he's had some lobbying things where he's making big money, and some of his clients have been controversial.
Let's be clear on this. He is not lobbied. That's one of the things that the folks out there on the left on Team Hillary has been putting out. He had relationships to advise and assist. He is an advisor. Okay. And let's be clear on this again with Russia.
He's making money for consulting.
I get your
point, but,
absolutely. And then the other issue is Russia. You know, look, he's a freaking intelligence officer. What good would an intelligence officer be if he doesn't actually go out and do intelligence stuff to figure things out? Sure. So, you know, you've got to be out and engaged. Mike Flynn's job before he left government was to actually understand the nap of the earth and how things function. That's not changed. And one of the key things about a Trump foreign policy is having credibility, and credibility especially with the eyes of world leaders. So Mike has that, and that's where this is all going. So, you know, this is again where I've been appalled about the complete slander, I would say. And I'm sorry, Senator Wyden, you know, maybe you ought to read more carefully what exactly General Flynn said about radical Islam. It's not about every person who has the Islamic faith being bad. It's about the fact you have elements within Islam who are using the religion as a vector to attack us. And if we don't actually accept that as a fact, we will see ourselves attacked more and more.
Boy, Abby, this is why we wanted Tony Shaffer, is to sort of get the real skinny. And when he says he's a freaking intelligent